Okay, well here we go. Let's look at our stuff, and here's my trusty sidekick, Peggy Lou. So, are you excited to go? Or?
Very excited. I am thrilled. This is going to be like an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just the rebound thing. Then you tell me that you're thinking I'm your next big thing. I played the fool like a blind.
Hey buddy, how you doing?
Buddy? Glad you guys can join us.
Oh man, this is Karl. Anyways, he's taking us in the bush.
Alright, we're going out harvesting for birch. And birch will be used for canoe building, baskets, and taking agons and some other stuff. So today is the harvest. So fine time. The firebugs are out.
So off into the woods we go. Our first day. Going to look for some trees. And Karl, he's going to show us what to look for.
It's a little wet down here too, guys, so be careful. So what are we looking for, Karl?
So right now what I do is I find a tree and I make a L shape on the bottom of the tree for three reasons. One is to see how thick the bark is. Second, to see if the sap is running. And third, to see if it's a good tree. And we're going to look at all the big trees around this area. And we're doing all the tests. So if there's one that says it's, they wrap your arms around it and see how big it is. And then you do your test and then you'll see how thick it is. We want something around 1/8 thick to a 16th, not any more, not any less than that. And make sure there's no scarring. Make sure there's the branches, how high the branches go. If you could say 12 feet, 12 feet is good. So those are the things we'll be looking for.
So I was charged with carrying the ladder because you need a ladder to get up these big trees.
When you put your hands around a tree like that, it's about 90 years old. So if your hands keep coming in, they're getting smaller, right? Yeah. But then when you put it up for your canoe, you have this, when you're putting it up. So that's why you say, oh yeah, it'll do. So when you bring it up, you got your shape of your canoe.
And what about the spruce or the stuff for the lashings?
The roots?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things you could tell which is the black spruce and the white spruce, if you can't tell, they're real pointy and narrow.
So we're looking for black spruce.
We're looking for the white.
White spruce.
And we use the white because you try to mix spruce gum with bare fat, black spruce gum, and it'll turn into crystal.
Oh yeah.
As soon as it hits water, it'll just...
So Karl has located the tree that we're going to harvest, and he's already put the cut into it. And now we got to get that bark off, and it gives a loud pop. It's a pretty amazing thing to hear.
Now, next thing we do before we do that, we look for a place to put it down. Put it down.
Right beside that tree there. Right alongside it. Big enough.
I'm thinking more about here. Oui, Seb, tu prends le machete puis ôte toutes les branches.
Tu veux pas des petits bouts, là?
Non. So grab it right where it's right, did you? And then we'll go right where your stab is. We'll slide it out around this way. You got it? And when we lay it down, we're going to lay it down on the front. Do this. Is that beside each right here? Okay, Sam. Tom, in. Right. Okay. Let her down. You want to do this right away because you don't want to do it after. Right now it's real fresh.
You want to roll it, eh?
Yeah, we want to roll it. So what we're going to do, we're going to flatten it out. Flatten it out. Count it. Would you come and flatten it out? On this side. Put it out, lay it down flat, put it down in the middle. Once we get that middle done, we'll start rolling the here. Just careful. Pardon. And you get up from the top.
Yay!
There's a tree hugger behind you. Watch out.
Did I do that? I was trying to stretch my back like a bear.
So we headed back to Karl's studio. And these are just some pictures of old canoes that he worked on. Now this one didn't turn out too good. There was a problem with the stuff they were covering it with. But anyways, you can see some of the beautiful stuff that he's been working on in his studio. He's a totally talented artist, and he's been doing this professionally since 2012. So we took a little tour, saw some of his artwork, and Peggy got to know Karl a little bit better, and I got to know his work a little bit better. I knew that he was talented, and I knew that he dabbled in all different ways of making art, but to see it firsthand, all the woodwork, the glass work, the leather work, working with welding, there's nothing this man can't do. And he knows how to build birch bark canoes. He's built 25 of them apparently. So it was a wonderful experience to get to spend some time with him and getting to know him a little bit better.
Leather and
Feathered.
those are beautiful.
Those are beautiful, man, for sure.
So, yeah, and then just making all kinds of stuff, and you know, and sometimes I do equal right, and it's just like a
With Karl, it's quite evident, here's a man who's found what his purpose in life is. He's such an amazing artist, and he's such a good man.
roll it with a roller, and all the ink picks up on the height. Next part is cedar, and then we'll go for the roots, because cedar you can do all your pieces. You know, a long time ago when they used to make canoes like that, they used to make, they're not worried about, you know, smoothness or anything. When you split a cedar, one side is smooth and one side is rough on it. And you could cut that, you know, you could split that as thin as paper. So it just flows that, and you can look at it through, you know, you can see
through it, yeah.
And that covers the inside of it. So that's why all that protection, when you turn it inside out right away, it stays that way, it forms. So every time you work with black ash, birch, cedar, whatever, spruce roots, always in the water. So she says, well, why don't you design your own? Because the other pieces that they had was 19 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, kind of a work at different things, and you know.
Thank you.
So now it's time to find that cedar. We need a big one. With no branches for a long way up, we need to make the canoe out of this. All the gunnels, all the cedars, ribs, everything. So it has to be a good quality tree. So we put down the tobacco one more time.
What we're going to do, we're going to cut it off on the end here. And we're going to measure 16. We'll cut it. And then we're going to start splitting that in half. The first half we're doing is the gunnels.
Okay.
And the other half we're going to cut out the quarters and take them out. So,
Sounds good.
And the sound is deafening. You are so far away. Oh, the sadness has to end. I'm taking my first step into her arms so I can mend. 'Cause she's a savior
first part?
The first part of the collection of the cedar.
My beautiful angel, welcome to my life.
So we're back. We're back at the house, unloading all this cedar. And here you can see Karl is showing me how he hand splits all this cedar. And he's an amazing artist. I tried to do some of this stuff and I could not do it. But he can make it paper thin, like he said earlier on. And so all this stuff here is from the trees that we cut down, and it's going to be used, every last bit of it. So amazing to see this artist at work. Well, I'm here with Karl Chevrier today, and we're going on to the next step, getting this traditional birch bark canoe made. So you can see he's got it set out there. Birch bark is in place, the rocks are holding the frame together. And now we got to start stitching it together, so we're going to be using spruce roots. So off we go, back into the bush, hot as heck that day. Into the sandy areas, that's where Karl says is the best place to harvest the roots. We need a lot of them, so it's going to be a long day.
It's a long, hot day collecting roots, so what you want to do is when you collect them, you want to roll them into something manageable. We have 36 ribs, so we need 72 at least.
72.
So right now, the cleaning of the roots, what I want to do is I want to just get off all these little small roots, step on it and slide the knife down.
This works good for you.
Whatever feels better. Sometimes you get a sore back from doing it one way. You could, switch around. So what I want to do is I want to split it in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going down the middle of it, just by pulling one way or the other.
So that it doesn't tear off to one side.
Yeah, and
same as the cedar.
Yeah, same as cedar.
Phone rings at midnight, and I'm fast asleep, dreaming of our last fight.
The edges of the birch bark are starting to curl a bit, but Karl's not too worried about it. He says we can straighten them out as we stitch them together. It's starting to look like a canoe to me. We still have a lot of work to do, but I'm honored to be working with this fantastic artist, Karl Chevrier. He knows what he's doing.
We'll take these little bends out,
Okay.
so we could lace them all the ways up on that side. Then our next step is to put our gunwale in, the outer gunwale, and we'll have to let go all this, of course, and then we'll start to get our height. Our height is about 9.5 up to the side rail.
So I believe these are the outer gunwales. They'll have to be all lashed together, tie this whole thing together.
Turn to face the storm.
It's amazing technology.
Enterprising last year effort to save.
Going through my root, I'm trying to see if there's anything that's going to get caught. Now I'm going to make this flat. I'll make this a needle. Chair and knife. So here's where we start. It's a big take, push. I want to go about maybe that far apart.
About an inch and a half, 2 inches almost?
No. It's not even an inch.
Not even an inch, okay.
About
3/4 of an inch?
Eh? So what I'm doing is I'm passing it through.
Yep.
And in here you can leave a good distance. Leave a good distance enough for tying. Don't try to make your hole too big. You want these things to slide in.
Yeah, nice and tight.
Pull it. Yeah. What am I pulling on? So don't pull it. Okay. Can you see the way mine is? I'll go again with another one.
Yeah.
And this one's gonna go in. The outside one's gonna come in first. Okay.
Well, that's my progress so far. See how the Chief's doing over here. Oh yeah, he's 10 miles ahead of me.
Here we have James lacing, stitching up the side of the canoe.
First time.
His first attempt. Doing an awesome job. How's your route coming? Cold? Dry, I mean?
No, it's
Starting dry.
pretty good actually.
Push it against your bark. Yeah, push it against your, yeah. Look at the man's technique. Look at his technique.
It's, you know, 4 or 5 of these canoes and I'll be an expert.
4 or 5 of them. He'll be getting into the 25 footers after.
Oh, this one will be a good
practice?
good practice.
Just pull it straight out. Don't have to pull back, James. Like straight out when you pull your root out. Like instead of pulling back.
Crack in this.
Yeah, just pull it straight out this way when you put your when you put your root in. When you do that, put your hand inside. You could go let go of your root. And there's the man at work. He's just grunting like a bull moose here.
They start coming out of the bush, you know.
Well, Karl, he's such a patient man. He can trust me with his canoe to do my best, and that's what a good friend does. Is they put their trust in you. He you know, he didn't micromanage me. He let me make my own mistakes, and you know, that's how I learned to do the things that need to be done to complete this project. And I just gotta say once again, Karl, thank you for all that you've shown me and continuing this legacy of building canoes.
So what are we doing today?
Waking up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're planning to put the outer whales in.
Okay.
On each side. Then we're going to start lifting it at 9.5 inches high, and that's why we're going to start lacing our top form on the top of the gunwale.
And you said that kind of stitching goes a little bit faster than the cross stitch?
Yes, it does.
Because you're just going around and around, eh?
So on the cross stitch, you're weaving back and forth.
Yeah.
So on the top lacing is just
Around and around.
you go in, you come out, go in, go.
So it's a little easier.
So
these are black ash.
Yeah. So I made some pegs to begin. So every time you make a hole in our gunnels, to go right through where you're making your lashing, you make a hole and you put your wedge in. You'll cut it off, please. So every time you go, you skip one, put a lace. Skip one, put a dowel in you. So these will be here for you to grab. We'll loosen up all this, and then we'll put our gunnels in place again, and we'll put back all our pegs again.
Okay.
Put it like that all the way down. Try to keep that straight line. Yes, we can.
What are you going to use to cut it? Just an X-Acto knife?
A knife, yeah. Yeah, and we're gonna put that, when we start putting our gunnels up, we're gonna put some inside, and we're gonna lock it there.
Okay.
Except we're gonna put it on this side, gonna be on the outside, like that piece.
Right.
So that way, if it curls up, it's gonna curl against the bark. See, so this is curling up.
Right.
But we have them the other way, it'll be just nice and solid. When you cut birch bark, say if you wanted a piece off and you want to try to cut it down,
Yeah.
if you just put it straight, see the way it goes. But if you put it on an angle and cut, see the difference?
Okay.
Always, just the only time you cut straight is when you take it off the tree.
Well, you and me, we are best friends, burning candles.
So we put the gunnels in place and we put that extra strip of bark in.
Touch me and I fall
It's starting to take shape, starting to look like a canoe. Not a boat.
You could either do it yourself, right?
Yeah, I won't be building a canoe anytime soon, just so you know. Just happy to be helping. And
Well, I'm
learning.
glad to have you, man, and I'm glad I could show you this this craft that our ancestors used to do before. I'm just looking for pieces. It's just starting to be real dry, eh?
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so what's next, brother?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a hole, put a dowel through it, cut it at the right height, which is 9.5.
Join it all together?
We're gonna get some clamps, and we're gonna clamp them together so they won't move. So then when we start to put our measurement up, it's gonna tighten it.
And then we start lashing after that.
And we'll start lashing.
running backwards, facing you, laughing at the things you do. You give me hope for
So here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get it in the center. Up front. What? Then you're gonna turn. So you take your dowel, and you have to make sure it's not big, not too big. Otro go. So you just get all pieces of birch.
Okay, so you went down, how far down did you go?
But what?
What's your route?
Just as long as it doesn't come out the bottom.
Okay.
As long as it's within your gun wheels,
Okay.
your inner gun wheels. Yeah.
Okay.
So make it pointy. So I want to make 2 holes. The first one's going to be the face. Tu vois mon blouson? Tu vois juste check out.
Just to the left of it, eh?
Yeah.
And then one just to the right of it?
Yeah, and one on the other side. So when I lace up, I'm going to make sure my root can go in.
So you're going on, okay. I'll get his hand here.
My head's in the way again.
Big head.
Sorry. Okay, now I'm just going to pull it in. So when I pull it, I want to make sure, avant de compléter tout, là, tu vas checker pour voir une bonne place.
C'est à l'endroit.
Ouais. Fait que là, en faisant ça. Puis quand tu vas tighter, tu vas faire... Moi, je fais mon main de même. Ouais. Puis là, tu vas juste faire sûr qu'il est tight. Juste un peu ça. Puis là, tu vas commencer à côté. So by doing that, and then I push it down, then I'll go on the side. I'll go on this, and then I'll come back. So when you look at it here now,
Yeah.
see. So, donc là, je vais commencer mon prochain trou. This is my last one.
So this is in the other hole now.
Yeah, this is a new one now. We start.
Okay.
So out
So
of
do
the
3 in the one, and then
the other one, 3 in the one again.
Oh,
so
you
you
go
only
3
have
again.
2 holes. Fait que là, tu vas voir
On each one.
Juste avec 3 racines dedans. Fait que là, l'autre, je vais faire la même chose. Fait que là, en faisant ça, je vais tighter encore en.
right over top of that
Yeah.
dowel, right?
Pull. You don't have to pull it tight, just
Yeah.
as long as it's in place.
Yeah. 'Cause every time I was pulling those tight before, they were breaking.
À chaque fois, So this, again, every time I push it, I pull. So,
So we're doing 6 lashes on each one.
yeah.
Okay.
So this
And then
one,
how do we tie that off?
that's where I'm getting. So now, before you come here now, this is your tying.
Tu fais l'extérieur avant.
Hein? Oui, de même,
Ça
parce que
même.
là, tu veux que ça
Ça.
rentre là.
C'est ça.
So before you do this,
We go over once.
go over once. So this one here, when you're doing it, put it in place and pull it. See? So before I do that, I'm gonna pull this down like that, and hold it. Puis là, on va continuer à faire attacher. So again, before I do this, tighten it up. This is where you have to tighten it up good here now.
Starting to look like a canoe.
When you build something like this, you become a team in a real hurry. You have to learn to work together. That's something that I can say for sure that I learned during the process of building this birch bark canoe.
Don't you wish that once in a while the good guys would win and walk away with a smile? Don't you wish it wasn't so hard to find your way home when the alley gets dark? Hey, how do you feel when the bills come in and there's nothing to make a good meal? Don't you wish that once in a while things could be easy and you're living in style? Don't
These
you
ancient
wish
methods of building were
somebody could see
lost
just
for a
who
long
you
time,
are
but now
the
Karl,
ones you
thanks to him, he's bringing them back to his people and now to me and all the people that I'll meet along my lifetime.
when the kids are all gone, 'cause the lawyers couldn't cut you a deal.
Okay, so what are you making here, Karl?
Right now, I'm making the ends of the canoe, and it's just done into layers of cedar.
That goes on either side?
On both sides, yeah.
Oh, you still gotta make
Yeah.
4 of those.
So I just make 2.
What about this end?
1, 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's for the ends to give it the shape. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you help me? Things are coming along here. We got almost all the lashing done. Both sides. Still a ton of work to do, but we're making some headway. Starting to look like a canoe. It's really amazing, actually.
Sometimes it feels like it's organized chaos. We have tools everywhere, pieces of wood, pieces of birch bark, but somehow I know this is all going to come together, and in the end we're going to have a traditional birch bark canoe that we can be proud of. And by the way, this will be used in a movie. I didn't say anything about that, but someday I'll show you the movie that it's in.
Okay, so what are we doing next, boss?
So next thing we're gonna do, we're taking out all this front end. We're gonna open it all up, and we're gonna put the stern pieces in. And then we're
Stern
gonna
piece,
start
okay.
We're gonna start putting our shaping the ends here. And
Okay.
then we can start lacing up here.
We gotta go get some of those roots cleaned up.
There's some in there. You can clean up the ones that you're gonna use to finish
Okay.
up here. 1, 2, 3. We need at least 3 of them here. So I'm gonna start splitting these the gunwales down into about 16 inches. This we could cut off and slide them down so we could start coming up with our end like this. So what I'm doing is going to cut this off on the end, and then we're going to splice this down to about 16 inches down, and we're going to layer it into strips, and the strips will look like this. So we could bend them a little better.
Okay.
So that way we could bend these guys up when we start to put them in place. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
J'arrange les racines. In my head is thinking English. In
En
French.
français.
En français. J'arrange les racines pour. Fait que là, je dois toutes les éplucher. Puis après les séparer. Et après ça, pour qu'on puisse les utiliser. Une étape à la fois. On se fait pas le time, hein?
C'est bon.
Erica was late to the party, but she was a valuable worker who helped us get this canoe done in time because we were under a deadline. We had to have it done by the 25th of August because that's when they were coming from Montreal to pick up the completed canoe because it was going to be used in the movie very shortly, so it had to be done, and without her we would not have got this done.
My heart skips a beat when I see the real world. Lost souls in the dark will reach out for our hands. Ashes blow in the wind of man.
So here's Karl. He's using his knife to split the cedar, and the gunnels have to be very flexible, so he tells me that it has to be split into 4. So he uses a knife to start the split, and then he uses his hands to finish the rest of the split. And it's like, well, if you break that off, we're in really big trouble. So I mean, it's amazing skill that he has to do this with such precision.
My heart skips a beat when I see the cruel world. All of our misfortunes are brought upon ourselves. My heart skips a beat when I see the real world. Lost souls in the dark will reach out for our hands. Ashes blow in the winter wind of men. I packed up my guitar and strings, found my way back home. I sat among my precious things and wondered if I'd grown.
What I'm doing is I'm pushing up on one, so it'll, if I just pull on them, it'll go
Yeah,
in
just like we were
small.
doing the
Yeah,
roots,
Just like
yeah.
the roots. So you want to make sure that you follow the grain good, so you can lift it up. So is there anything else you wanted to ask, James, before you?
So why do we have to make them thin like that?
Because if they weren't thin like this, you wouldn't be able to get a bend like this.
Okay, so it's thin them out so that we can do a nice easy bend, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise they
yeah.
could crack, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, ça bon?
And it'll also kink on you, pop out.
Okay,
So,
ça bon.
C'est bon?
C'est bon.
Wow.
fait que lui, on va couper. What? On va couper là, ici.
I came back the next day and Karl had both ends already stitched up. So we're ready to move on to the next step.
So what's happening? What do you got done so far? 3 of them.
Right now I'm working on the cross benches, cross bars, whatever some people call them, benches. Right here I just put in the handle,
Beautiful.
and it's just mostly just carved in and fit in, and it's the hash tree. That's what I use.
File down nicely.
Yeah, I file down as much as you can and try to work at them. So our next point is to make 2 holes and then lace them up like this. Except you're going to be in here. You're going to be in here somewhere.
Yeah, be very specific with me, eh?
Oh, very. Making 2 holes like this.
Okay.
With
With
that,
the hole maker.
yeah, and then you start to lace same way. You start in here, and then start lacing.
Come up.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Go across to this hole. 3 again.
So again, you're gonna have to fit that in there. So your awl is gonna have to go in. You have to use your awl this time. So because when you make your hole, right, you're gonna have a hole in there, and you're gonna pass your first root, And pass your second one in there, start getting closer and jamming up,
Yeah,
like,
see.
and so you're gonna have to put your all in there to open it up to try to
Okay.
put your other one in. 3 on this side, and then you roll up 3 on this side. Same thing. Load up
How are we
3.
doing for roots there?
Oh, we're running
Running low?
but we're still trying to make up what we're doing right now. They did all the cross stitching on the sides that has to be done, and yeah, we're gonna water it out after.
Oh yeah, good.
We're gonna put the water in it, and then we're gonna empty it out, clean it out, and then start putting the ribs in. That's our next point.
Oh yeah, good job.
So Erica brought reinforcements with her that day. Her boyfriend, a big burly guy, came to help us. So we were so thankful for that because time was really running out. His name was Xavier.
Karl, what's happening here?
Oh no! I don't know anymore.
Karl's given Erica some lessons on how to use the plane. She's planning on being his protege. She wants to learn everything that he knows. So
Non, parce que là, j'ai toujours de même.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Not much, just having fun with the woods,
Oh, you're just practicing.
just practicing.
How you feeling, Karl?
Hot.
We're getting close. We have a little bit of extension on the deadline, so
Yeah,
that must give you a little breath of relief.
it does. So right now, what we did is we took out all the rocks and we start putting all the ribs across, and we're gonna measure them out to fit in the side. So our next step is to take those rocks out, finish the next handle, and put the ribs in.
We're getting close, Karl. We're getting close.
Get in there, James.
You're gonna leave those rocks in till tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or you want me to use my last good back muscles today and today take those out? No?
No. It's good. It's good.
So this is the last bit of stitching that we have, lacing that we have to do. We still have to fix this, you think, eh?
That's just a couple of laces around.
Okay.
And before we go, when we take it all out to clean it out, wash it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna clean it right out, wash it out. We're gonna do the bottom of it, wash the bottom, then we're gonna put it back in place, and we'll start putting the ribs in.
Okay. So the next step here is we're just laying out all the cedar ribs. We marked them off. Try to keep the thin ones for the front, and then these all have to be bent and placed inside the canoe. And yeah, we're getting close. Very exciting.
we were so excited to get the canoe off the frame, but unfortunately when we took it off, we did find that there was multiple tears in the bottom of the birch bark, which was not a good thing because they were coming through this canoe very shortly. And the next problem is that we were out of roots. We did not have enough roots to stitch up all the holes that we had in this canoe. So,
Well, we were hoping to put the ribs in, but unfortunately we ran into a bit of a snag. There's a couple big cuts in the bottom of the boat, and so we have to go for emergency collection of some roots. And where we're going to get these roots, Karl?
Tomstown.
Tomstown. How long is it going to take us? About an hour?
No, but there and back. Well, we'll hopefully get a few nice, some good ones.
Yeah. Okay, well, the adventure continues. Nothing's easy.
Nothing comes easy.
Nope. I do like the scenery when I'm driving home, though. Nice valley. It's like dewworm hunting. That's a beauty. Hey?
Yeah, like a fox.
on the way back, Karl decided to show me how to harvest the spruce gum from the spruce trees.
And What we're looking for is the big globs like this of spruce stem. So we're gonna go around to each tree and we're gonna just knock off the big chunks like this. Yeah, this is just starting to go. We should go down that way. Right here we got natural material from the spruce tree. This is spruce gum. Just collected by just scraping the gum off the tree. And we're gonna boil it and filter it, and we're gonna mix it with bear fat, and we're going to seal our canoe up with it.
How long do you think that's going to take?
Depends on our mixture and everything goes good. Hopefully a couple hours.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Sounds good.
So Karl, like a mad scientist, shows me how to blend these two ingredients together, the spruce gum and the bear fat. And he shows me everything that needs to be done to seal up this canoe properly.
This is just the pure spruce gum. I'm going to show you the difference. Right now it's just mixing with the heat, but it's once you get it in the water, it's already frozen. But see how well, you can hear it.
Mm.
And it breaks off. Yeah. It's crystallized once it gets hard. So with the bear fat,
Makes it.
gives it that elastic flexibility kind of a thing. And
Mm.
this makes my nose. One of the things that you do when you test it, you put it in the water, see how it's going to react to the water. Is this water cold first of all? It's not even cold.
What are you looking for it to do?
I'm looking for
To go into like a hard
no,
piece of plastic?
until it doesn't break. Okay. So it doesn't break. Look at.
So that's good then.
You want this to be, see the crystals off it? It's been mixed a little too much, but look at, that's what you want.
Solid.
No, you want flexibility.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, you want to look for that? You want to look for flexibility. So right now we got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till it simmers down a little bit, because you don't want to put it on too hot. And we're going to pour it in all the
Crevices?
yeah, and all the joints that we overlap. We'll put some in there and we're going to pull it down a little bit with some weight.
I met her in the
Take some of this here. Great.
suitcase in her hand. She didn't say a word. She just pointed at the sand. I helped her to her feet and gave her a smile. She didn't say a word as we walked to find my house. Can you hear me silent sound?
So pushing down at the back.
Can you tell me who I am? Can you show me what you see in your visions and your dreams? Will I ever hear the truth? Do you think that you
That's enough.
tell me that you love me? Silent sound. I took her to the airport, put the suitcase in her hand. I didn't say a word, she just pointed at some man. His face was scarred and ancient, his clothes were soiled and torn. She held out her hand to him and touched his heart of stone. Can you hear me silent?
Right now I'm making the sheeting that goes inside that's going to cover all the birch bark. And I'm just taking off the rough stuff here.
So that just sits there.
It just sits there, and
You don't use anything to hold it in place?
well, just
The ribs.
temporary, like you could use a rib or two.
But the only thing that holds it in place after is going to be the ribs.
The ribs.
Okay. And this is all hand split?
Whole hand split.
And these are from the big trees that we felled.
Yeah. The cedar
The
tree.
one that almost killed me.
One that you ran from.
As she headed for the skies, I wondered if she cared for me when she wouldn't say goodbye. Sometimes it's better.
Bleep. Action. Red means stop. Today what we're planning on doing, we're making sheeting, which is going to line the bottom of the canoe to protect the birch, and then we're gonna slide our ribs in. So this is where we're at. We're gonna do the finishing on putting its shell inside.
So now we have most of the sheeting in place, and so now we have to start bending the ribs. So we had this idea that we could do it using this eaves trough and a couple stoves, and it did work kinda for a little bit until I kept knocking it over and spilling water everywhere, and so we ended up having to switch the way that we were doing it. But the first little bit we had a little bit of difficulty making it work, as you will soon see.
Put the next two in.
Yeah. 1 and 2, we need 3 and 4.
Very good, Karl. Thank you.
So there's where it gets hard on the knees, man. Here's where it gets hard on the knees. You hear it?
Oh la la.
Your knee cracking?
I wish it was. I wish it was. No.
How was the fort?
It was good. I miss Karl, but
You missed Karl. What was the whole point of going, wasn't it?
that was him. But
See?
I heard the rest.
See?
Why is it
That's why you said the
cracking?
thin ones. That's why the thin ones are always the first ones that. That's why we said. This is where the water comes in now, eh? The water. So we'll put this in here for a sec. Yeah. Hold that in there for a sec. You're gonna have to get that other thing with that water boiling. And so when that happens, you just water it down a little bit. So that's what we're doing. You know, this thing has to go underneath this. See? This first one. See? Go this way. Now we need some more of these sheetings to come up on top, block these. So this is where we're at. Nasa tao ba?
Ok, il est trop par là. Je comprends pourquoi tu ris.
Non, c'est juste... Vous avez fait tout ça avec le reste, des fois il rentre un peu de même, là.
Ouais, je vois très bien.
Oui. Fait que là, prochaine, si tu demanderais quel fonctionner ça, là, d'accord, je commence tout, mais quand tu fais, tu fais comme parce que là.
So I finally found something that I was good at. That was boiling water. So I got to boil the water, and I got to bend all the ribs. After a while, I got pretty good at it. So I learned something valuable during this whole process. Do the things that you're good at.
Ouais.
What'd you do? Oh no!
Nothing.
We didn't see anything.
Come in.
As they were putting the finishing touches on the canoe ribs, I was amazed how this thing had come together so quickly in such a short period of time. But now it's time to seal it up.
Rocking with my friends, it makes me high. Without the music,
This is the place we've been wanting to be at for a long time.
take what you want,
What are we doing here?
take my guitar.
So what I'm doing is I'm just pouring it on here now. If it's too thin, it'll run.
Take my place,
If you don't want that to happen.
take my car, take my
Yeah, so don't want that to happen.
show. Hey man, don't you take my guitar. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It'll dry in there.
I could listen to those 6 strings all night long, like the magic in a mushroom casting spells of song. So take what
So right now what we're doing is we're sealing the canoe up
my guitar
with some spruce gum and bear fat mixed together. So what we're doing is we're putting it over all the seams so we see this what happens when it's too liquidy.
Runs.
It runs, yeah. And I don't
It's
wanna-
gonna cool off fast though,
yeah,
I think.
and that's a problem there
Yeah.
too,
So you're gonna have to work fast.
eh? Yeah. So, and then especially when I get down to here, there,
It's gonna run down the.
yeah. And see, there's a little bit of imperfections here.
How you feeling?
I feel a lot better knowing that we're at this point.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're at this point where we can, you know,
Seal it
it up now. See right here now. And we won't know until we get it in the water how much of a,
Where we need to fix it.
yeah, that's for sure. I think that's it for there. I think there's a little more holes in it.
Okay, this is insane. This is what's happening. Yeah, we gotta go get some more. We gotta get some more tree sap because we're out and the boat has to be done. The canoe has to be done for 9 a.m. So we have no choice. We are going to a golf course at, what time is it? What time is it, crazy man?
1:45.
We're going at 1:45 to harvest, so if we don't make it back alive, tell my children I love them.
Oh, you making? If we're in jail, you mean?
"3:30 a.m. and we're still building canoes."
By this point, we're both exhausted. Kind of feeling a little bit defeated, but at the same time feeling very excited that we're very close to completing this project and maybe get even a couple hours of sleep before they come to pick up the canoe.
For the people in the back row, they're the ones who stood up and got it right. Let's go to the engine room and crank it up. Nobody wants to start no fight. Way down low where the grinders like to go, we're jumping to the beat at the Peacenik show. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. Temptation at the mention of your name. I'm better since I got my fix. I'm taking over for that 1-900 bastard. I'm a keeper and I know all the tricks. Way down low where the mushrooms like to grow, we're jumping to the beat at the Peacenik show. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. Hey, hey, it's a Roman holiday. The Peaceniks are grooving, take your blues away. Rock and roll and come on over to the east side. The Peaceniks are jamming, they're gonna set you right.
First time in the water.
Junior, he's a trippin' on the tom-tom. He a weirdo, but he still got game. Bub is bustin', making rumbling thunder, getting funky till he feels no pain. Bun on a run, he's got a Mickey on his hip, searching for the wrist to make your backbone slip. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. Hey, hey, it's a Roman holiday. The Peaceniks are grooving, take your blues away.